eye-opener for people on the outside of the program is seeing that Andre Jacobs was number 2 on the depth chart at the linebacker role.
Now, Andre's really improved since the spring, coming off the injury. We're pleased with his progress, and I know in this day and age, we know it's a big deal who starts and who does not start. And only 11 guys can go out there. Andre Jacobs will play. But on the other hand, Mike McClure's had a heck of a camp, and Quinn Backus has had a heck of a camp. And Andre's progressing every day, and he'll be a key guy for us.
Was it just the fact that McClure was, a little bit better in camp, or were you at all trying to send a message to him that, just because you have preseason accolades, no job is, given to you?
No, we weren't trying to send a message. We have a philosophy here that players decide who plays, and it's easy for us as coaches to see who's making plays and who's producing. And Mike has had a fantastic camp, and it's not so much what Andre hasn't done as what Mike has done. But again, the more guys we can play, the better we'll be defensively. So we're going to play as many guys as possible.
Tell me about McClure a little bit. Give us a scouting report on him. I know he played all 11 games last year, but he didn't start any of those.
Yeah, and again, I'm not too certain what went on last year. Is all I know since we've been here. Mike has steadily progressed through the spring. Worked hard this summer, I believe, and hit the ground running from the first day of camp, and has made a ton of plays during camp, and hopefully he'll continue to do that on the first game.
What impresses you the most, though, about him is his speed? Is just his ability to get to the ball or anything like that?
Well, he gives you great effort, and he's smart, and he can get himself in the right position, and he sees things well, and we like his footwork, and he's a tough guy too.
Teell me about your defensive line. Just looking at it, it's a lot of familiar faces, and it seems like that might be one of the more deeper spots on this team's defense.
Yeah, our defensive line, we're pleased with the progress they've made. We have some guys there. We believe philosophically that the game begins up front on our defensive line. Johnny Hartsfield's a key guy. A guy who's really had a great camp is Jamel Davis. And so he'll be a key guy for us. And Jeff Sally and Quentin Davis and Chris Thomas, all those guys have done very well and counting on them in a big way.
I hear that Akeem Wesley is moving back to wide receiver, or is he going to play a little bit of both, or what's the status with him?
The plan right now, he's moved back to receiver at this point in time, and we'll see how he progresses there.
Is it just it didn't work out at DB, or do you have enough DBs? I know kind of DB was one of the question marks of the team coming into camp.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. He's a heck of an athlete and has made some plays around here in the past, and we feel we're okay right now in the secondary, and there's might be, he can do some things offensively as well as defensively, but right now we've just moved him back to offense, and we'll see how it progresses from there.
How is the secondary right now? I mean, you got Trey Henderson, he's back. A couple other guys that I guess haven't had game experience, but what have you seen out of them in camp?
Well, again, they've done well. Tay Johnson's done well. Ladarius Hawthorne's done well. Johnny Houston has improved tremendously from the spring until now, and Philip George has had a good camp. So, we're happy. Pernell Williams has done well. So we're happy with where we are as a defensive backfield.
What's going to be your philosophy come next Saturday as a defensive coordinator? Are we going to see a lot of blitzing? Are we going to see? What are we going to see out of this defense?
Overall philosophy, we hang our hat on two things. We do everything we can to stop the run and everything we can to hit the quarterback. And that's what we've talked about from day one here. If we blitz a lot, we blitz a lot. If we can line up in base and play base, we'll do that. We'll do whatever we have to do to stop the run and hit the quarterback.
Do you feel like the defense is ahead of the offense ahead of the defense, just in what you see out in scrimmages?
Well, I think a sign of good competition and a good team is it's been back and forth. And through spring, you go way back to the spring, and through training camp, it's been back and forth. It's hard for me to gauge who's ahead and who's not ahead. I am pleased with where we are defensively in terms of from the day we arrived till now. The progress has been great.
All right.
I feel like we came a long way from where we was started in the spring to where we are now. We improved a lot, so we gotten better over the time.
Tell me about the linebacker role. I mean, today the depth chart came out, and your name was ahead of a guy that a lot of people thought was solid foundation of the defense. But does that put more pressure on you, or like Coach said, he was just talking to me, a lot of people are going to be playing?
Well, yeah, it's just an honor for for them, the coaches, to have that faith in me to put me out there. And yeah, like the coach said, a lot of we're all good enough to play on the field. So it's gonna be a lot of rotation. So a starting spot is just what it is. It's just a start. Doesn't mean anything, you know. But I am privileged for the spot.
I mean, it does say something that you probably worked your tail off to get to this spot, right? Kind of tell me about what this means to you, that you could. A lot of people thought this couldn't happen, and you made it happen.
It's just I went out and worked hard, and I just look at it as an honor that they would do something like that, and give me that spot, that starting spot. But as if we're gonna be successful as a defense, all of us still gonna have to play.
What do you think the philosophy is of the defense? What are fans going to be able to expect as far as blitzing or anything like that? What do fans expect from this defense?
Well, on defense, we just live by a motto of stopping the run, and that's what we just live by. We just stop the run first, and if we stop the run, everything else is gonna fall in place.
Tell me about what was the biggest question mark you think for the entire defense coming into training camp?
Just learning, with the new coaching staff, just picking up new plays and new and things like that of learning a whole new system than which we have learned, and I think we picked it up well.
How far, with terminology, did you have to learn all new terminology, or was it like, could you, relate some of the stuff that you learned from the past?
Oh yeah, we could relate some of it, but these with the new staff, they made it's simpler, so it wasn't too difficult to learn.
Now, just kind of describe your style of play as a linebacker.
Well, I'm undersized, so I use my quickness and my speed to my advantage, versus bigger linemen, and so that's how it kind of speeds the type.